You join us today in the back of our Land Rover Discovery 4. And what we're doing today, Tyler, the exciting topic of...
Trying to stop theft.
Trying to stop theft.
Fight crime.
Right. When you drive your Land Rover Discovery 3, 4... Sorry, Discovery... anything where the spare wheel is not in the boot, but under the boot floor, accessible from underneath, as demonstrated there by Tyler. When you have a breakdown, you go under there. Now, some people are finding, and we've covered this before, that your spare wheel is missing. It's been stolen. And we've got no words for people who steal stuff, have we, Tyler? Just
don't do it.
Right. Now, and what you've got is you've got a spare wheel winch, something like this, and you can see the sort of top of it there. I've got a nut, or you may have something there. Interestingly, they've changed the design on that one. That one's got a nut. We'll have a look. It might integrate with it. We'll have a look. And as you wind this, it lowers down this. Now, we've done a video before, and we've shown it. You just used to have the spring. It used to come down. And what they used to do, I don't really want to do this video in some ways, because I'm telling people how to steal stuff, but hopefully no skanks are watching my video. Right? They used to saw the cable, and then it would drop down, and they would run off with your... And often it's a brand new wheel and a brand new tyre, which is really depressing. And the worst thing is you wouldn't know about it until you break down, and then you're stuck somewhere, and you're like really stuck, because you've got no spare wheel. So, one option you can do is you can renew this, and you can put one of these on, which has got this little metal bit, which makes it more difficult to saw through. But then what they've worked out, well, can you see that that sits at an offset? So that's where we're going, but the centre of the wheel is here. And what they're doing is they're cutting through here. Now, how they do it underneath the car is because modern alloy wheels have got all these big, sexy designs with like big gaps between the spokes. Now, if you've got a steel wheel, you don't have, you'll see when we take our steel wheel off, you don't have these big gaps. So it's much harder to get in there with any snippery and snip things off. So, right, and what we're going to also talk about today is you could fit one of these spare wheel covers that go underneath. So obviously this is upside down, will be, and then that covers not only the end of that winch, but it also covers the gaps in the spokes, and in theory stops people doing it. Now, we've got two types. We've got this type, which is a heavier, and look, I've got a magnet here. This one is magnetic, so that's a steel one. And we've also got this other one. This one we've developed ourselves. It's made from a thinner gauge, but it is stainless, because the magnet doesn't want to stick to it. And we've made this one welded in 4 places, whereas this one you can see is just welded in 2. Now, but it's not as heavy a gauge, but we're confident that with the extra welds and the sort of, it's still a pretty good deterrent. Right, so okay, so let's have a look at the spare wheel winch. What we're going to do now, we are going to wind that one down, we're going to take the wheel out, we are going to swap this over, and we're going to show you how to refit one of those. Right. Right, so there we go, we've got a 22mm. Now as I wind this down, you should see... Right, is that about enough?
Yeah, that's dropped.
We could go a bit more if it's got... Right then. So I've lowered it down onto this little skid, dolly, whatever you want to call it. And then what you've got to do is you've got to fish this little bit out of here. So you have to, it might be easier to get your hand in through the side. Okay, now you're not going to see a lot of this, but I'll show you when it's out. You have to wiggle this out sideways. So you've got... Right, let me show you what I'm doing with that new one. It's going to be a lot easier than... What you have is, as you lower it down, you've got to get that in there. So that holds it all, but to get it out, you've obviously got to get your hand in under here and just get that leading edge out, and then it comes out. Yep, got that. Right, okay. So have a look under there, Tyler. I've got you a light here. I'm trying to keep a safe distance from Tyler. Social distancing and all that. There we go. Can you see where we got some screws? So we got these 4 screws up there. So I think we're going to change this anyway. He's looking a bit rusty, isn't he? And he's the non-secure type. So that's the type there without that metal dish around the outside of it. So we'll have a go. So we've got 4 10mm screws there. Right, I've got the socket. You can move back a little bit, Tyler. And I will undo these. Now, when we sell these, Tyler, I don't think we supply nuts with them. I think we ought to add 4 M6 stainless nylocks with these.
Where's that?
You have a look there. While I'm busy, Tyler, you do the nice stuff. There's the nut I just taken off for you, Tyler.
There's no nuts. There's no
No
nothing.
nuts. You're not yourself when you haven't had your nuts, Tyler.
No. It's a big issue.
Big issue. Alright. You leave me down here doing all the dirty work.
I'll just manage.
Yeah, you just manage it.
I'll oversee.
You then lying on your side there with your elbow out. You have to swap it round the selfie mode. Maybe not. Alright then. So obviously if you've had your wire cut, my sympathies are with you. Your winch will need replacing anyway. There's no way of repairing that winch. And the other thing is, yeah, make sure you get a quality winch. We only sell genuine ones because if that isn't crimped on the end properly, they will just fall off. Right then. Right, so have I done those 4, Tyler? Yep.
Yeah.
Right, then there's 2 on this little bracket here. Can you see this little bracket here? There's 2 other nuts on.
Yep.
Are they nuts or bolts? Nuts. Ooh, them tight.
Well, they've got to come off whatever they are.
They're coming off. It looks a bit surface rusty under here, but I don't think we're... I think it's just on the surface, isn't it? People will be telling me how good Toyotas are. Under my Toyota, it doesn't look like that. But I think this one has had some off-road use. Oh, there's some grindy noises going on here. Am I going to be lucky? I guess we could recommend spraying with some WD-40 or similar.
You can always spray with some WD-40.
Always spray some WD-40. We have friends at WD-40, but they don't give us any free samples. They did once, actually, years ago. That's a bolt there.
Yeah, so we've got 2
So I
bolts.
guess we ought to... If you can work out what bolts they are, Tyler, we'll kit those winches up with new bolts, shall we?
It's like normal M6.
M6, I'm agreeing with you there. Oh,
Leading.
right, if you're working under cars, make sure it's supported. He says. Do what I say, not what I do, isn't that right, Tyler?
Pretty much.
Yeah. Alright. Whoa. Now this, so I'm not too worried about the because if you go and have a look, Tyler, you'll see it on that new one. The bolts go into the end of the new winch. The nuts should be captive on the little tail of it. Have you worked out where I'm going into?
Oh,
They're going
I see.
into here somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So but if they don't, it'd be nice if they supplied the bolts. We are going to add the bolts, aren't we, Tyler? Because you've got
Best
new
practice.
nuts here. It's the bolts are going up into there. Because these are.
Bit of welly.
Am I supposed to make these jobs look easy and beautiful? Here's one we removed earlier. Right. So there's the other one of those. Right, now we should be able to wriggle that out of there. Right. Right. So that is the old winch. So yeah, interestingly, they have changed the design on that new one, haven't they? So let's put them next to each other. Let's have a look at this. So they've gone from a hexagon to a, and I guess that's to get your jack handle in and give it all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess some people might have got caught out when they then had the right size socket.
Socket, yes. Right. And then the other thing we're looking at here is easy now. Is so you've still got your support bracket there, and your stats all the same. But what you'll notice is it's got this extra can on the outside to stop you sliding through. Right, we're going to bolt this one up because it's a simple job of putting it up. Yep. And then once that's on, we'll put some new bolts in there, and then we'll come and join you again and show you how to put the wheel back with one of the wheel guards. Right, so we have just grabbed some new fitting bolts. So if you're going to do this, I'll get Tyler to do it. We're going to kit these up. So if you buy the spare wheel winch from us, we don't sell many of these because we sell the genuine ones, and there's a lot of the aftermarket ones. But we weren't sure about the quality. What I'm talking about is where this is crimped onto this wire, and if that comes off at your spare wheels on the ground on the motorway, it's not a good thing. So right, so there are two M6 by 25 stainless steel bolts there, and you've got M6 nylock stainless steel and M6 washers. So that's what we're going to kit it with. I'll put a bit of copper grease on these nuts, on these threaded nuts here. Put it in there. Hopefully that will get dragged in when I put and then on the little bits hanging down underneath, I'll grease them up. So you don't need to watch me do this. I'm going to lie underneath and bolt all this back up. It should be straightforward. Bolt those 4 nuts up under there, get this in, and then get that on. If there's a problem, I'll let you know. Right, look at this. Things I do for YouTube videos. Look, Tyler, all my carpet dirty now. Right, so now we've got, we've gone in our side pocket. We've got our tool collection out. I haven't been out before. And then we've got the little hooky tool. And then obviously now we need to hook that in under there. You made that look easy earlier, Tyler.
Just got to come at it from a...
Got to come at it from a different angle. There you go.
I think you made it hard for yourself.
Now, if it's really tight, you have got this little shape on this tool that you can sort of wriggle over there like that. But that gets a bit cumbersome because you can't if you've got the rear seats up. So we've worked out that the screwdriver they provide you in the kit perfectly fits there. So that's probably a little better way of doing it. So we need to wind that winch all the way down, Tyler. Is that coming down now underneath?
Yep. Looking good.
Good. So go in and tell me when it stops. I don't know when it stops. Does it just...
It's on the floor now.
On the floor.
Still going.
That'll do, won't it?
There's plenty.
Right. Okay. So now, one thing I wanted. Sorry, Tyler, you're all up and down there. Look. Right. So one thing you see on the steel wheels, the holes are so much smaller than on the alloys. So with the steel wheels, you're less at risk of getting it stolen because you can't get anything in there. Right. But we are going to pretend so. But look at that. It's all bobbly, like new, like it's never been driven on. Right, we are going to take our HSX one of those. Right, so it goes in. So what we're going to have to do is put the 2 of them underneath. Now, unfortunately, it is slightly more difficult to get it back under, but at least you'll have a spare wheel. So, right, again, you've got to just get the ball through, then put that through the hole. Then you've got to tilt the spare wheel up and find your guard. Get the ball through and get that through, and then hopefully that will all pull up like so. Right, so I'll do the winding time, and you have a look and just check that seems to. Right, let's have a go. Clockwise for up we go. Tell me if I'm going up or down.
Up, definitely up.
Yeah, clockwise for up.
Makes sense.
And it should align itself, but you need to double check that. Obviously, and probably before it goes up too far. Is it started to lift it?
Yeah, it's definitely lifting.
Right, let's just have a double check and make sure.
Looks like it's aligned.
Let's just have a look under, have a peek under there. Yeah, you see how that's all there. Just give it a little peek for you there. And then wind up and you're done. You never want to watch me straining and going red in the face as we wind up.
Definitely.
Obviously, you want to wind until it's touching, otherwise it's going to wobble about down there. I think that's what that spring's for. You know that spring, Tyler,
Yeah.
in the end of that little rusty winch down there?
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to compress that a bit, so it's always sort of spring-loaded up against the floor. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I think they've thought about these things.
You'd hope they have.
I think the motor industry's had long enough to work out how a spare wheel winch should
Why is that spring there?
Yeah. Everything's normally there for it, especially if it costs money. Right. Go on, Tyler, is that enough for this video? Are we there yet? Tyler?
No.
Really? It was much easier with that drill.
I think it's because we dropped it down so far. Let's get nearly there. I think it's there.
There. Again, you want to tighten it a bit to compress that spring a little bit. Right, that's all it's having, Tyler. Right, job done. I hope you never have to repair it, but it's probably worth putting one on if you've got a nice spare wheel under there. It's probably a wise precaution because of the cost and the inconvenience of having it stolen. There you go. Good luck with that.